everyone, and welcome to another episode of Part 2 Book Club. In case you thought we had forgotten about actual books, we have not. We have been a little bit slack between book club reads this time, but as always, life got in the way, life's busy, all of that fun stuff. But we have all been reading Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver as our most recent book club read. And today we are here to review, as all good book clubs must do. So, everyone.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Sharon. I see you've got yourself a cool podcast and mic. You're going all in on the podcast influencer.
And I have to hold it because, I have where I am, I've got nothing to rest it on. So, just look like the douche of the podcast.
You definitely are podcast douche.
Yay.
Alicia, I have not unnoticed that you are, in fact, wearing a Taylor Swift t-shirt at the grand old age of 41.
Correct. That's right. Never too old to be a Swiftie. And counting down, so I think we've got just over 4 weeks to go till the big concerto.
Oh, I forgot you're going to Taylor Swift.
That's right.
Actual
16th of August. Sorry, Sarah.
So jealous. The amount of persuading I tried to do to convince Alicia to take me instead of a sister.
And you know what? I would 100% take you, but she got me the tickets.
Keep this in the podcast.
She doesn't. She's starting to listen to the songs, but she doesn't know very many.
I know them all.
Painful. It's painful. Yeah.
I'm not a Taylor Swift fan whatsoever, but I've got FOMO from the concerts. I was literally like,
it'll be amazing.
Maybe I should.
Mm-hmm. You'd take me. I know you'd take me, Leash.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Sure.
And Zara, how are we?
Oh, you know.
If you don't know, I'd refer to our last podcast where we.
No. I'm okay. Kids are breaking up from school, and we've got the summer holidays ahead, and the weather seems to have turned.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like in the other areas of the UK/Brisbane, but we have had a bit of sunshine, and it's on the up, and I'm feeling hopeful.
It's been nice here.
Yeah, it's been really nice, and I'm looking forward to a nice, quiet summer.
All right, Shani, this was your book club book. So why don't you and your cool influencer Mike give us the lowdown / brief synopsis of what Butcher and Blackbird is, and then also why this was your choice.
So, Butcher and Blackbird is essentially about two serial killers that fall in love. They meet by accident whilst targeting the same person and create a competition each year to whoever gets to the target first gets to kill them first, they win. Yay, serial killers. The caveat is they are actually both weirdly good people in a way, and they only kill bad guys. So, like Dexter, they only kill the bad guys. But that is essentially the plot in a nutshell. Two serial killers have a competition every year, and they fall in love. The end.
I like we didn't give anything away, which is what I do. So
that was a good synopsis.
It was
it's very in a nutshell.
Basic.
And the reason I chose it is I was trying to find something completely different, something that I hoped would hook Sarah in. I thought the thriller vibe, the murder vibe would do that. I didn't realise that it was quite so graphic before we started, but that was why I chose it. I just wanted something with a bit of a thriller, a bit of a whodunit, murder mystery kind of feel to it, and I had only seen really good reviews about it, to be honest, where people were saying it's really dark but darkly funny. And I thought, you know what, that sounds like something I would enjoy. Maybe we can reel Sarah into the liking romance with something completely off the and here we are. I've done my predictions in the back of the book again.
Oh, cool.
All right. I think I might be quite wrong with some of these, though, because
I don't know. I spoiled a bit for you on Sunday. So I was like, I told you a bit about how I felt about it. And you were like, I haven't done my predictions yet.
Yeah, and also, I mean, facial expressions, where Zara's concerned, definitely give quite a lot away. But I don't know if I've been too generous in some part with what you're all going to.
We'll find out.
I've done my prediction, so we'll do that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So, given this was a pick for Sarah, really, to see if we could reel her in, should we start with you?
Let's start with me. Why not? Let's go. So this book actually came highly recommended from a friend of mine. And when we said we were reading Butcher and Blackbird, she said that would be one she would have recommended. She said it's really good. So I went into this a little bit enthusiastic because, yeah, like Sian had sort of like sold it a bit as a, sorry, Sian, sold it as a bit of a thriller. It's a little, there were some bits that were uncomfortable. I've never read a book, obviously, with a trigger warning before. Is that normal, Sian? Just a quick question in the genre. Or is it a modern thing for books to come with a trigger warning?
Oh, I suppose it's more modern.
Yeah.
But you do get a lot of books with trigger warnings. Not all authors put them in the books.
Okay.
Some authors say, like on their site, they'll say check the trigger warnings first, and they'll put the trigger warnings on their website rather than in the book. But yeah, a lot of books do have trigger warnings because triggers can be anything. It can be something that you might think is quite small, but to someone else who's experienced something like that, it's quite big. So that all authors will always put trigger warnings.
These were some pretty. These weren't sort of like
quite big
something
ones,
small.
I'll
Let's
give you
say,
that.
like just to quickly just give us a. Okay, so eyeballs and eye sockets, amateur surgery, skin ornaments, chainsaws, axes, knives, not so accidental, cannibalism, questionable use of a mummified corpse, lobotomized manservant, ill-advised use of kitchen implements, and the ice cream.
Do you know, the ice cream didn't bother me as much as some people were saying.
Yeah.
It's food, like, at the end of the day.
No, Sian, semen isn't food. Semen is not food.
Yeah, but I haven't been put off cookies and cream ice cream, which some people were saying, I'll never eat it again. I was like, well, I'm not expecting it to be in my ice cream, so
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not put off by it.
Not a new Ben and Jerry's flavour, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, so I think that there were certain things that I found uncomfortable. I tell you what I liked. He really loved her and loved her. And I think they mention a lot the sort of like him feeling it physically, how much he loved her. And I liked them. There were strong characters. I liked their names. I liked Sloane and Rowan. Like we've talked a lot randomly about names in these books, and I was like, these are some cool dudes. Like, and I liked how he felt about her. I wanted them to end up together. Do we get to say they end up together at this point in time? Like,
we always spoil these things.
Yeah, let's spoil it right now. They end up together.
So.
They're happily ever after. And I've got the kids upstairs, so I'll talk quietly about the sex scenes. But I found them, of all of the books we've read so far, like probably the most like passionate. Like they, yeah. I thought, you know what? And again, this is probably coming from the male to the female. I thought, he really loves her. She really loves him. It's a bit weird and twisted. I tell you what, I really liked the text messages. And I think I said this to you on Sunday, didn't I? I was like, I thought the text messages between the two of them were really funny. Some really good like conversation.
They did have some great banter actually.
Yeah, it was different. Like I didn't find it wasn't a whodunit because we knew who'd done it, so it wasn't so much a mystery.
No, it wasn't a mystery.
No, we knew who had done it. It was gory. That wasn't really anything like that. Didn't really do it for me. That was probably a bit too much. But I did, in terms of a love story, this ticked a lot of boxes.
Look at us go! Most positive comment we've had from Sarah.
No.
Historical.
Wow.
I thought they were good characters.
Sorry, Alicia. What did you and your Tay-Tay t-shirt think?
Yeah, we both. I enjoyed it. I think what I liked was the fact that it was completely different in terms of, and in my head I had the anti-bubblegum romance. So it was because you got thrown into the blood, the gore, and the graphic sort of nature of the whole thing.
Bless you.
Which I don't really like watching that on telly, but to read it doesn't really bother me as much. And I thought that she did it in a really clever way where it wasn't too, I don't know, I think you probably get numb to it quite quickly because you'd have to see it. And I really, really, like Sarah said, I really enjoyed the banter between them. I thought it was very clever. They were very sweet, very sarcastic. And I also, for the heroine, Sloane, I thought she was really cool.
Cool.
You know, you can imagine her just being a really cool character if she was in a film. And obviously the feminist in us or in me was like, yay, go slow and go kill those evil bastards and chop off their bits.
Go serial killer.
The only thing I think towards the end, and because it was like a whodunit, but we kind of knew who did it, I think my interest sort of waned towards the end. And then there were certain parts of the book where I thought, you said about the how much he loved her. I thought it was a little bit OTT with the like, oh, look at my new restaurant and it's for you, and this table is for you, and it's a bit like, oh my god, like, does she really like that's like really full on? But I guess that's there maybe just because they're serial killers. Maybe that's how, you know, they're kind of very extreme in their show of whatever. So I took that as a okay, because they're that way inclined, then
they're
it's
a bit nuts, a bit psycho.
Yeah, a bit psycho.
yeah.
For any other people would be like running away, but I guess she's like, well, I know what you do. Yeah, the level of like, I mean, they probably would have been found out by the police by now. and you know, for a book and for the, you know, the fact that it's a fictional book and a romance, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Just towards the end, I was like, okay, I'm ready for it to just finish. And clearly there's like a part 2. And I always think, will I read the second one? And will I rush to read the second one? I'll definitely read it, but I'm not going to rush to go and buy it. I definitely read it. But yeah, overall, pretty good.
Excellent. And Zara, here we go. Here we go. Come on, Zee.
I didn't hate it. This wasn't a Duke situation like where my blood boiled and I wanted to burn the thing to the ground. So it wasn't that, which is good, positive.
Excellent.
I think that's the problem I had. So I had a couple of like real struggles with this one. So number one, nothing happens. So there's a lot happening. Nothing happens. Like, and I kind of went into it, and probably the first quarter to half of the book, it got my interest because I was like, okay, great. So it starts off, you're like straight into like the action. There's like a dead body and maggots. And there's the whole thing. And you're like, okay, I get what this book's going to be about. And I liked it. And I liked how they met. I liked that whole conversation just after they met. And then I really liked this concept, the competition that they were going to go into, right? And I was like, cool, I'm really into this book. Like, this is cool. And then just absolutely nothing happened. And it was like copy, paste, repeat in terms of the story. It was like, and the best way I could describe it, it was like she tried to shove a bunch of romance tropes and like themes and just the standard shit that happens in romance books. I've enjoyed a lot of these books. So things like the meet cute she got, and I thought she killed it. I was like, yeah, love it. I love this whole like how you've met. But then she tried to shove the will they, won't they. Then she tried to shove the like, oh, they've all got this like messed up past. Of course they do. They're serial killers. Like, they've got to have a messed up past. People don't wake up one day having been raised in a happy family and go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go kill people for shits and giggles. And then on top of that, she then shoves in the usual stuff, like the first kiss and then the moving in together and then the fake breakup. But then she then wraps that around all of these like murder-y scenes. And it just felt really flat, like really flat. And then the ending, I just really struggled with it. And I really, really, really wanted to love it because that beginning was so good. Like, I was like, you've nailed this. Like, your meet cute is they're meeting over a dead body and she's locked in a cage, having not eaten or drank for 2 days. I was like, this is going to be excellent. And then it just fell really, really flat. And there was just lots of like really standard cookie cutter romance stuff. And I was like, I was disappointed. I think my best response is I was really disappointed. I thought this had such opportunity for like just to be like awesome. So yeah, sorry.
I have to apologize.
Right.
Everyone has their own opinion. And as Sarah said before, and you said before, if we all had the same opinion about every book, this discussion would be boring.
Yeah, I think I'm not sorry that I'm sorry for the fact that it didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sad that it didn't live up to what I thought it was gonna. I did genuinely, and you did like swing the book back past me in the beginning and was like, what do you think? And I was like, hell yeah, this sounds amazing. Like, I'm so excited. So I think I'm just disappointed that it just didn't live up.
Early. Oh well.
All right, Shani, it's your book.
Right.
What do you
have
reckon?
made some notes because I read it a little while ago and I need to refresh my memory. But okay, so there were a couple of things that did not annoy, maybe frustrate me, or I had to really, really suspend my disbelief even further than usual. So, and the first one for me is that 2 different serial killers have loved ones that know they're serial killers and are A, okay with it, and B, supportive of it. Like, that for me was the biggest moment. Because he has his 2 brothers, one's a doctor, and like, oh yeah, my brother's a serial killer. Cool, all good. Carry on, mate. And her best friend, I can almost understand her best friend a little bit more because of the whole background story there and how she got to her first kill, her best friend involved, right? So I kind of understand that one a bit better, but the 2 brothers and one being a doctor and them all being okay with it, and like the feds have never caught up to anybody, and that was just a little bit too far for my disbelief to be suspended. And then the second thing that annoyed me was the whole miscommunication trope where she goes to the restaurant, he's there, she freaks out, his friend literally just turns up, hugs him, and she's like, oh, I've got to go. And it's like, if she had just spoken to him for like 10 seconds, that whole miscommunication thing could have been avoided. The miscommunication trope is something that generally annoys me. What was the other thing? Okay, so those were my 2 like negatives, I suppose. But I pretty much loved everything else. Like, as you say, Zara, I loved the meet cute. Like, how unique is that? She hasn't eaten or showered. She's pissed and pooed herself. She dehydrated.
I liked it up until you guys have redescribed it so many times. And now I'm like, this is just a really gross way to start a book.
It is gross, it's gory, but it kind of set the tone for, like, you know, serial killers and the gore. And I don't know, I just thought it was really unique, and their banter and amongst all of that, you know, quite a negative experience, I just thought was really unique. I really enjoyed that. I liked the dichotomy of Sloane as a character. She was sort of meek and timid, but also a total badass that just kills bad guy. Like, she was polar opposites in her character, but I liked how it all meshed together. And I liked how when she got really nervous, she started to babble and like speak nonsense. And like when she calls him, she's trying to introduce him and she doesn't know what to introduce him as. So she ends up calling him her man guy, and he like doesn't let her live it down for a while. And I just thought that was quite funny because I can understand babbling when you're nervous. I get it. I babble when I'm not nervous. Like, so I thought that was quite cute. What else did I say? The sex scenes were very dirty and raw, but it actually really suited them as a couple and who they were. And I thought that was good. And then I thought there was one really, really sweet moment. So there was one thing that I highlighted that I thought was really adorable. When he says to her, when I was young, I collected every lucky charm I could find. I couldn't understand why those talismans never changed my luck, so I stopped believing. But now I know I was saving it all up to meet you, Blackbird. I thought that was just the most adorable thing to say to her. We didn't know serial killers so in love. When he collected
they're very cute.
for her, and it was very cute.
Yeah, they were very cute.
There were other frustrating moments, like the whole, I can't remember the names, the competition that was at the farm, when it all just went completely to shit. That, like, a lot of that was quite frustrating because there was so much that I feel wasn't really true to character in how they would have behaved in that kind of situation. That did annoy me a bit, but otherwise, I really liked their characters. I loved their banter. It was very darkly funny. It was gory, so if you aren't into gore or if you get put off by gore, it's not for you. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that farm thing, just to add to that, that was probably the turning point for me of like, just because there was a few things in that, to your point, like it just felt off. And then the thing that really got me was they're serial killers who kill bad guys, who do bad things to good people, and so you kind of forgive them for a few things, and then also they're messed up humans, so it's like a release, whatever.
Yeah.
Then that farm thing happened, and then it was like they didn't care that, and they were standing outside listening to someone getting like basically
chainsawed, yeah, getting chainsawed.
There was no like rush to go. There was no like rush to go and save. It was so weird, and it's like, well, if you're there to save them, wouldn't you be saving them? Like, I'm so confused by that.
So the whole David thing, false lobotomy bollocks. I was very suspicious of him, obviously, from the off, but what I'm unsure of is, did Sloane actually know the way she claimed, or was she just part of her whole get him off Rowan thing at the end? Or did she actually genuinely know? Because she was really pushing for Rowan to like take him on as a, sous chef, well, dishwasher, whatever. Did she know, as she claimed to at the end, or was that part of her get away from Rowan thing?
It would be really odd for me if she knowingly placed a serial killer into the person that she loves restaurant and didn't tell him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, again, that would just be a 360 on that character.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think she did.
no, I'd hope not. If she did, I'd be like, there's something wrong with that girl.
I think she obviously knew, she like towards the end, but not way back. I don't think she was that.
Not
really
first.
Weirdly.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it took her a while to figure out that Rowan was actively pushing her away to save her.
Yeah.
So, and then the proposal. Creepy or what? I mean, it was great then, but like, he hid the ring in the guy's eye socket.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
spoiler alert.
Sorry, the whole thing is a spoiler alert. Like, our entire podcast in general is a spoiler alert.
Sarah, you had a question?
Yeah, it was a question for Sean. And it was, and this is purely because I obviously struggle with certain genres of books. And one of your comments you made about this was that you found it a little less believable. The idea that two serial killers were serial killing and their family knew, their brothers and their siblings knew and were okay with it and went about their... And then all that made me feel was some like latent anger towards Bride, where there was werewolves and vampires and all of this. And I was like, hold on, like if we're holding books up to like this standard of believability, I was like, it sort of that was the... It's not really a question so much as the
paranormal and the genre for me.
Yeah.
Going to be a completely different kettle of fish.
Okay.
It's
I'm
not
learning. I'm learning in all of this, right?
In the real world. So like magic is real, and shifters are real and vampires are real.
Some people believe this is real.
Well, I know. But generally it's not set in the real world per se. Yeah. So from that point of view, and I am a huge romantasy fan. So from that point of view, I know my suspension of disbelief is going to be like universe high, never mind sky high. It's just going to be like, what's disbelief? What is that? But when it comes to things that I can sort of think about in a more tangible way, or try and relate to in real life, I'm like, I call bullshit, and I do it all the time.
I think so. I think like in me reading that, I found that more believable than vampires and werewolves, and I was just like, these are two serial killers and they probably live in America, and they do, and they and they're in competition and they're having a bit of fun, and a couple of close people, and so I didn't question that didn't seem, whereas then I read the vampire stuff and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I think fantasy and paranormal are completely beast, and that so I don't nitpick with those in the same way I nitpick with contemporary romance.
That's cool. No, like I said, I'm work in progress with the romance genre.
Also everyone has like different feelings about this stuff anyway. Some people might nitpick at the fantasy stuff, people might not nitpick at anything, but I am a picky person.
I think my aha is that I'm really struggling with any of the romances that are set in like the real world, and I know that this was a little bit suspend your disbelief disbelief on the fact that they are serial killers that haven't even been remotely caught, whatever. In fact, I think they only reference the potential of being caught once.
Yeah.
I actually find the ones that are set in like alternative either universes, spaces, like realities, much, much more enjoyable. I can kind of, I think because you suspend your disbelief on the world that they're in, you suspend it for a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Whereas with these ones, I'm a bit like you, Sean. I'm like, what do you like? Number one, like, and I'm a massive crime person. I love true crime. I listen to loads of true crime podcasts, like all of that stuff. I just the whole time I was like, you're not using gloves. You're gonna have left DNA everywhere. Like
hair will be falling out.
hair's falling off. You've left footprints. Like you've left fingerprints everywhere. Like and people have seen you. Like that girl fully saw both of your faces. Like she can identify
at
you.
That guy's house and like surely left DNA on the cutlery and stuff.
Exactly. Just like stuff like that where and it kept and then I think because that stuff starts to nibble at me, I then refuse to let go of like smaller stuff and it really annoys me.
So
I do.
Go.
So
shall we do scores on the doors?
Yeah. So scores on the doors. We might start with you, Shani, given it's your
I gave it a 5. Even with things that I nitpicked and negative, I still just really enjoyed the book as a whole. I loved the vibe of it. I liked the banter, and I just enjoyed the experience of reading it. So I did give it a wholehearted 5. Who's next?
Alicia?
So I think I'll go with my initial reaction, I think was a 4. And then I was going to bring it down to 3.5, but I'm going to give it a solid 4 because of the same things that you said, Sean. Really I like the vibe. It was very different. I like the characters and their relationship. There are definitely bits that I just think are annoying, but on the whole, it was a very, what's the word? I was pretty gripped through most of it and enjoyed it. Yeah. All good.
We go.
Nice.
Sarah?
I'm stuck. I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go 4.
Me.
I really like the characters. I really like the banter. I really liked in terms of romance, like romance. I really liked the intensity of their love for each other. I did. I really liked it. So I was almost a 3.5, but no, I'm gonna go 4. Yeah, 4. Butcher and Blackbird, 4.
Zara, today's villain.
There we go. I'm not the podcast villain anymore.
Today.
Just for the day.
I'm just gonna go straight down the middle, 2.5. Like, there's nothing in it. I mean, if you don't like gore, don't touch it. Look, it's fine. It's neither here nor there. So it's a straight down the middle, 2.5. Am I gonna reach for the Bren Weavers? No, probably not. And that's really sad because when I did pick it up, honestly, I was like, this is gonna be like a whole series that I'm really gonna enjoy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So my predictions.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that threw me is you, Sarah.
No way!
So where's my camera lens?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, 3.
No
you
way.
went super far off.
Alicia 4, Sarah 3.
3. I mean, 3's high for
There you
me.
go.
Yeah,
I
it's good.
didn't dare go higher. Alright, who's
Me.
Zara.
Zara?
And I haven't.
Oh, you're
Reveal.
supposed to announce the new book.
I haven't.
Oh, what is it?
Do it. Drum roll.
So I think this is we are going in a slightly different direction as I don't know if this generally sits within the standard romance genre. So I think this
Jeffrey Archer.
No, it's not with Jeffrey Archer. So this has been coming up on a lot of posts and stuff. This book's been mentioned a number of times, and so I started looking into it and like reading it. And I'm really excited to read this one. I was going to read it anyway, and then I thought, oh, why don't I just make that my book club book? So I'll read the description before I reveal the book. Oh, where are we? So from the author of We Begin at the End comes a soaring thriller and an epic love story that hits like a sledgehammer, an absolute must read. That's Gillian Flynn, who's the author of Gone Girl. So as I understand there's a bit of crime, there's a bit of thriller, and then there's this underlying kind of love story. Apparently it'll have you on the edge of your seat. So hopefully it'll be good. The book is called All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker.
Yes, I saw that today. Somebody's
I have
2024
not seen
book.
it.
In the Amazon basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Cool.
on its way to me already. That is our book club read. So guys, get that in your Amazon basket or any other book read basket that you have. And let's get reading for the next book club read. But I'm pretty surprised The Butcher and Blackbird got, it's probably one of the best reviewed of all the books
I think
we've read so far.
I think it might actually be the best reviewed.
The best, yeah.
But if we don't have any other comments or add-ons for The Butcher and Blackbird, we are going to crack ahead with our new book, which is All the Colours of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. And thanks so much for listening, everyone.